Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Thrive and Survive Research Hub. I have my co-host, Tineiwo, with me today. T, how are you doing on this fine Saturday?
A lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, Alex.
It's
When the
exciting.
Springboks play,
It's so
it's
exciting.
happening tonight.
No,
So
we've got
yeah,
the
I'm good.
cameras
I'm
off.
good. I'm good.
We've got the cameras off for video quality, but I am wearing my green and gold. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, no, well done to that, bro. Brownie points for you. And and yeah, I mean, I think the day can only get better after this.
Agreed.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing some good wisdom as well and discussing some very enlightening topics.
Agreed. Yeah, we've got a short and a sweet episode today, folks. Normally I hijack the wheel, but I just wanted to lay you up today, T, to ask if you had anything that you wanted to discuss in the beginning.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you read my mind because today I just wanted to steer a bit, dig a bit of your brain and discuss some of the things that have been on my mind. So
Let's
yeah,
do
I do have quite a few topics that I'd love to discuss. And with us obviously only having 30 minutes today, my challenge to you is to keep it as concise as possible, even though I'm the one who over elaborates. But yeah, the challenge is going to you and you can give it to me back through your answers.
Let's do it.
Cool. So yeah, from my side, what I wanted to discuss today was mainly just personal agility.
Mm-hmm.
As a with where the world is going, personal agility is going to become a very important trait for life in
Yeah.
general, as well as your profession and relationships. Because
Yeah.
I think the days of stability are slowly coming to an end,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more about um, you need to be agile to be stable
Mm.
going into the future.
Mm.
So what's your take on being personally agile and adapting to changing times as a person?
I think this is such a great question, and I'm going to try and keep it short. But I think for me, as somebody who loves routine and um, likes stability, change is something that I've had to learn how to adapt to. Um, it's definitely not a innate strength that I had coming up as a young person. But what I would say is wherever you go and whatever happens around you, your character is the same. And so you can create stability for yourself in an ever changing world by having a clearly defined value system. Because you take yourself wherever you go. So
Yeah.
also there's little tips and tricks in terms of there's things that you can do wherever you are in the world, regardless of what's happening around you. So you can always breathe, so you can meditate. You can always pray, because that's God is with you at all times. You can always make the better choice, whatever the circumstance is. So I think there's a book, there's an excellent book about change called Who Moved My Cheese, which is a very well-known management book. I think it's by Peter Drury, but I can't remember the title of the author of this book. But basically, it's all about if you shy away from change, change will come to you and you won't be able to handle it elegantly. But if you acknowledge that change is an inevitability, you can work towards it and be proactive. And so you can make change serve you instead of disrupting and destroying you. That is my answer.
Yes, dude. And I'm glad you've answered in that way, right? The Who Moved My Cheese, I think is
Fantastic book.
a fantastic book and the most relevant metaphor to compare personal agility to, right? Because I think with the world we're in today, the cheese is constantly moving.
Exactly.
The reason why I say that, if you look at like the lifespan of businesses, they shortened drastically compared to the olden days.
Yes.
The lifespan of how long someone is a monopoly. Monopolies form within 5 years. Some monopolies can be destructed within 1 year.
100%.
Right, through creative destruction and all these other new industries coming along, e-commerce, AI, and all these other new developments that are happening due to the advancements of technology. So I think is in business, it happens a lot, but it also happens in your personal capacity because you need to adapt to the changes in the business landscape, and that would require you to have more skills, right?
Exactly.
That would require you to approach the world differently, and that would require you to also evolve with the change that is happening, because at the end of the day, technology makes your life easier. So
100%.
Boo moved my cheese is a very good metaphor, and I like it because I just think it speaks to the reality of today. Your goal today might be to be someone like X,
Yeah,
and tomorrow the cheese might move,
exactly.
right? Because you would have had more experience and you would have seen better things that most of the time allow for you to take that goal that maybe was too low
Yeah.
to the next goal that is a bit too high. And that's what you want to constantly do in your life, you know, move the cheese and put it in a destination that is more difficult to reach so that you can gain more experience and skills.
And you know what I would add to that as well is, whilst the landscape is constantly changing, the fundamental pillars of success and right living will remain the same.
Yeah.
And it's because these are universal truths. You know, we speak about this all the time. Something that was written 2,000 years ago still applies today. So if someone said to me, you know, I'm worried about my place in this modern world that's constantly shifting and changing, I would say, look backwards. Pick up a book that stood the test of time, because it's still going to apply. And once you learn those principles, like the 7 habits of highly effective people, those things will serve you regardless of the environment that you're living in. Being proactive is a fundamental principle that was a recipe for success 100 years ago, and it will still apply 100 years from now.
And you said that well, and I mean, that now leads me to my next question. After personal agility, I think to be personally agile, you need to be wise, right?
Sure.
And I just want to know, what's your overall stance when it comes to just like wisdom? How would you define wisdom in your own?
Sure. Wisdom as a definition. Wow. What a question. I don't.
There's no perfect definition to it, right? I
Yeah,
think wisdom is
I'll give mine. I would say wisdom is an awareness and understanding of the cause and effect of the universe. So I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
It's an awareness and understanding of the cause and effect of the universe. Wisdom is saying, if this happens, this will happen. If I do this, then that. A lot of philosophy is boiled down into that. And, you know, if I could compress it into like one of the best things I ever heard by Naval Ravikant, who's a fantastic businessman, philosopher, anything. Wisdom is saying, if I don't like something, I can either accept it or I can change it. Those are my 2 options. If it's outside of my control, I have to accept it. If it's within my control, I will change it. So, you know, when I look at wisdom, I'm also going to try and keep it short here, but it's just correct living. It's living in alignment with the way nature works and the way the universe works. And when you don't live with wisdom in your life, you find yourself constantly experiencing friction. Everything is frustrating. There's no peace in your heart.
100%.
When you gain wisdom,
100%.
you find peace. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, bro, it's like it's like you and I are on the same frequency, and I'm gonna just, you know, flesh out what you said in my words, right? Because now I want to define it according to what you said, but I'm also gonna let you know that your definition was quite in line with what the Oxford Dictionary defines it as well as what most philosophy defines wisdom as. So, yeah, kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
But to give you the true definition from a philosophical perspective with regards to what wisdom is, Wisdom is the ability to relate yourself to others as to gain their harmony, willingness, and cooperation in helping you to make life yield whatever you demand of it.
Mm.
I'll repeat that. Wisdom is the ability to relate yourself to others as to gain their harmony, willingness, and cooperation in helping you to make life yield whatever you demand of it.
Wow.
You spoke of less friction. You
Yes.
spoke about cooperation. You spoke about getting along with others and doing things in alignment with the universe.
Yeah.
And that's what the definition of wisdom is. Do things according to the laws, and the laws shall bow to you. And in turn, you shall receive everything you desire based on the habits and the actions you put into the universe.
100%.
So yeah, just well done there. You hit that on the spot. And I just love the way you looked at it and the way you broke it down outside of the definition that I had given.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, like,
Cool.
I also just want to say, there's a difference between intelligence and wisdom.
Mm.
And a lot of people confuse those two. You can be a very smart person and be miserable. You know, one of my favorite Naval quotes is, if you're so smart, why aren't you happy? Because often people worship the intellect and they worship talent, and they look down upon wisdom and spirituality, philosophy, and they find themselves living, again, cause and effect. They get exactly what they are looking for, which is a very unfulfilled, but maybe financially successful life. You're intelligent, but you're not wise, and that's the difference.
Sure. This is a banger. The wisdom being dropped here, I love it.
This is me with a beer in me, T.
I love it. I'm gonna just have two more questions. So
okay.
The next one speaks more to individuality.
Mm-hmm.
What do you define as individuality, and what do you think of it in a world that rewards you for being like other people today and makes it harder for you to be a specific individual, for you to be yourself? What is your take on individuality with regards to success? How is that important? How is individuality a very integral part of success?
Such a great question. I would say individuality is truth and authenticity. And I would say your only insurance in a ever-changing world is to be authentic. And when you say the world rewards you for essentially being part of a collective and not being an individual, I would challenge that and say, what's the reward that you're getting from that? Because the reward is most definitely not a successful life by my definition. You know, you're not getting fulfillment, and you're also not getting the true rewards that you deserve, you know. Again, like, individuality is just authenticity, and authenticity is the truth. What is authenticity? It's being what you really are. And that's my thing. It's like, how do you find true friendship? By walking away from people that you're not really friends with and finding who you really are. How do you find your soulmate? The same way, by being authentic. Otherwise, you'll never find the person that actually connects with you, because you're playing a role that you don't actually fit into. And, you know, how do you find the thing that you will truly be good at? Authenticity. Because you gotta ask yourself, what actually interests me, not what is going to make me the most money. It's what actually interests me, and then you can become a one of one. And the thing is, with technology advancing the way it is, it's no longer good enough to do repetitive tasks that your intellect can do, because artificial intelligence is going to do that. But AI doesn't have a soul. So, you know, what is your insurance? It's cultivating your authentic self and realizing your full potential in that regard. So that's my take on individuality. You know, it's authenticity. It's being honest. Jordan Peterson says, tell the truth and you will live the greatest adventure of your life. Because if you tell the truth, what will happen is the best thing that could have happened, even if it's painful in the moment.
Wow. And I mean, to sum up everything you've said, what I can say based on your definition is that individuality is victory.
Yes.
You know, like I can only speak for myself, right? And I think you can relate. Someone who I can speak for myself, someone who obviously grew up around people, I was quite liked, quite favorite, always the favorite in a lot of environments that I went in. So, you know, when you find yourself in environments where you're already liked, it's a bit sometimes you question being yourself because you're like, oh, okay, this is working.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm the shit.
let me try to be more than this. Yeah. But you realize that your individuality is constantly changing based on your life experiences.
Yes.
And it is imperative that you adapt your individuality to your life experiences because that is when you apply wisdom.
Yeah.
And that is when your behaviors match your principles and what you currently are in life. So I think, like, have you ever tried to do something that you felt to be embarrassed about?
Yeah.
And you do it and you're like, that felt damn awesome.
100%.
Have you ever done that?
That's
individuality. Saying, I don't give a damn, bro. This
Yeah.
might be working, but this is how I feel and this is what I'm going to express.
Yeah.
It's liberation, self-liberation.
It's incredible. You know, when I quit my job last year, that was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. One of the best feelings, I would say. And just because it was a complete acknowledgement of my inner voice. My inner voice was screaming at me, "What are you doing? What are you waiting for?"
Yeah.
And I listened, and it was, you'd be surprised how much external criticism you can take when your internal critic is satisfied.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And to just conclude that, in closing of that question, individuality is basically your soul growing up and asking you to behave like it.
Yes.
Your soul grows. Remember I said to you the last time, what you face in your mind and stuff, you're not facing thoughts and stuff, you're facing your soul. You're facing the Alex root of non-flesh.
Yes.
And that Alex root has demands of you. It's not skin, it's not a human being, it's a spirit, it's energy. And it has demands of you. And if the more you miss those demands, the more it questions you. We call it being haunted.
100%.
We call it midlife crisis at 40 or midlife crisis at 30.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with midlife crisis. It's got to do with the fact that your soul is confronting you of the fact that you are not there or not in alignment with the individual that your soul demands you to be.
100%. 100%.
Cool. I'm not gonna go too deep, but I think you get that.
But before you move on, I have to say something here as well. That inner voice is your intuition. And when you are in moments of confusion and everyone is losing their shit around you, when you need an answer, that voice will give you that answer. And the more you listen to it, the better the answer will get. So if you're looking for mental clarity in your life, start by being honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest and pay attention to the answers that you get. You know, ask yourself inside, what do I think? And then listen. And be brave. Have some courage. Like sometimes the answers you're going to get from that voice is, no, this is not right for me. No, this person is not my person. Or no, this place is not my place. And the reason people ignore that voice is because they're scared of the actions they'll have to take once they're aware of it. But ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance will, excuse my French, ignorance will fuck you up, dude. Like ignorance will ruin your life. So choose wisdom. Don't choose ignorance. Choose
100%.
the voice that's inside of you. That's what I would say. That's also wisdom.
100%.
Your
Yeah.
innate spiritual wisdom is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. The last question, the finale. How are we doing for minutes today?
We've still got 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we're good.
Wow. 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 My next question to you is
Sorry, what was that?
how important is the exchange of knowledge in your daily engagements to you? Do you think you get a lot of your knowledge from conversations with the people you hang around? Or does that not matter to you? Do you get all your knowledge from reading, watching the news, and doing your job? How important is knowledge exchange to you in your daily conversations with people, all the time you choose to spend with people socially?
It's very important. It's very, very important. And I would say it's a skill that a person can refine to gain knowledge from the environment around them. And the reason why I say it's a skill is because when you speak with people, it's a skill to tease wisdom out of them. You and I have spoken about this, but listening with intent to learn is very different from listening with intent to reply. And it speaks to this principle in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People called seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
My heart, man.
No, I acknowledge good wisdom. I think the thing about you and I is that if you don't agree with something, you just won't say anything, right?
100%. Yeah, or challenge it.
That's the power of individuality and an authentic friendship, right? And even there's many things we don't agree on. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We've had many debates about stuff where we just end up agreeing to disagree. Not to say that my point is more valid than yours or vice versa. It's just that on this point, due to life experiences, we don't agree.
Yeah,
100%. And
100%.
there's power in that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, if we just agreed with each other on everything, we would learn nothing from each other because then we're basically the same person. But yeah, that principle, seek first to understand, then to be understood. It's something that I always have to remind myself when I'm having conversations with people. Because I don't think it's a natural thing for human beings. I think most people are not naturally inclined to do that. Maybe that's a limiting assertion, but I've just noticed as a skill, it's very rare to find someone who's a great listener. So, but that's what I would say. I think it's a great foundation to say, I will learn, even if I don't have the luxury of having people around me that I can learn directly from in terms of conversation, I can learn from their example. And that can be a bad example or a good example. And it's all rooted in mindfulness and awareness. So just trying to be sensitive to the lessons that are constantly around you. In the last episode, we spoke about the Springboks and the lessons that we drew from that performance.
Yeah.
There's people who watch that game and they did not get a single lesson from it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not here to judge.
The lack of objectivity.
Yeah.
The lack of objectivity. And also, and that's good you say that, if you don't do sport, you don't understand.
Yes.
You cannot understand what you haven't done.
Exactly.
Bro, you play ruggers, you know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and most people don't get the opportunity to play rugby. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Maybe in the future to come in the New South Africa, rugby will become a mainstream sport in both private and public schools.
100%.
But most people are spectating, and they're making speculations that are very far from the truth. And their analysis of the game is also very far from the truth in terms of what they perceive.
Armchair experts.
You hit the nail on the head, armchair expert.
What about you?
So, yeah.
How much of a role does it play in your life in terms of learning and growth?
Yeah. So for me, and this might sound selfish, but I think once you acknowledge the scarcity of time and the fact that time goes quicker as you get older,
Yeah.
you feel less bad about it. But for me, every conversation that I have, generally, I try to make sure it adds value to my life.
Yeah.
If not to my life, to the person I'm speaking to.
Yes.
So knowledge is definitely one thing, but if knowledge is not there, it must be a conversation of positivity or encouragement or enlightenment.
Yes.
And the minority of the time, jargon. So
Yeah.
yes, I do a lot of jokes and stuff, but the jokes are just a small portion of a larger conversation.
Yes.
And where there's no knowledge being shared, it's positivity and good energy being shared.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And that's the kind of conversations I have at this point in my life, because I don't think I'm at a stage where I can prioritize friends where I go and spend 5 hours of speaking jargon,
Yeah.
talking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot afford that right now.
Yes.
I can't afford to spend the whole weekend talking shit, going out and partying, and I cannot afford that. Maybe when I have 100 million rand, a business that's giving me 100 million rand turnover a year, and I'm banking
Yeah.
20% of that.
But
Sure,
even
I don't
then,
mind going out to the
no,
weekend
even
and playing golf and going on golf tour with my friends from Friday to Sunday
but
every
you'll get bored.
month or whatever.
You'll get bored.
Okay,
I say you'll get
exactly.
bored.
So yeah, exactly. So for me, in this point in my life where your brain is like a sponge, you
Yes.
learn quicker, you understand better. There's no better time to prioritize making sure that your conversations are strategic and value adding to your overall intellect and to yourself as a person from a religious and a philosophical perspective than now.
Yeah.
And I maintain that. And in that, I make sure that the 20%, I make room for jargon. And I
Yes.
think that's a fair split and a fair balance. And
100%.
yeah, it's been profitable for me thus far. And it just allows for me to know when I'm wasting my time versus when I'm not. And I'll give you a very good example to end this answer off.
Yes.
I sometimes get into environments where I'm invited by my friends. I'm having an amazing time. But once too much time has passed, I feel I'm wasting my time. No matter how much of a good time I'm having.
Mm.
And that is when I decide to go home.
Yeah. And it's your inner voice, you know?
Yeah.
You're being authentic
Yeah.
by
We've
making that
passed it's
decision
called the
to
law,
go
the
home.
law of diminishing returns. You know that law, right? The law of
Yeah.
diminishing. It's an economics law and accounting as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Very familiar with it.
Diminishing returns. There's a point you've hit the peak of adding value to yourself. And after that point, everything you're doing is diminishing.
Yeah. It's like Pareto's
There's no
distribution.
doing it.
It's just like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
20% of inputs gives you 80% of outputs. After that point, you're kind of just
There you go.
wasting your time.
There you go. So that's how I view my conversations and exchange of knowledge. And like with you, you can see we spend 20 minutes talking. I mean, we spend 20% of today talking about the jokes, but the bulk majority, plus
Yes.
80% of what we've spoken about has been enlightening.
Yeah.
It's been educational. And I leave this conversation a more intelligent person with a better understanding of the world and you and myself.
Likewise. Likewise.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, those are my tough questions for you, Alex.
that's perfect
I
because
think I think
we
this
literally
is the
running.
first episode where I think this is
Yeah.
the first episode where I really get to ram you up and interview you in depth, So
I
I
love it.
must say you handled those questions very well.
Well, what can I say? I answered what I really thought, and often that
Yeah.
actually works out quite well.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
speak the
So
truth, it kind of works well.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'll leave it over to you to close up unless you have any more things you want to discuss or chat about.
No, I think that was a perfect, short and sweet episode. And as always, it's a pleasure and a privilege sharing this format with you, T. And to everybody listening today, I just want to say I hope that you guys learned something from this episode. I definitely
Yeah.
did. And we really appreciate you giving us your time and your attention in an age where everything is begging you for it. So thank you very much. Thank you to T. It's definitely not going to be too long before we do the next episode. We're trying to be more strict with our routine of doing this. And yeah, until we meet again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. And like I said, it's been a pleasure. I learn as much from you as you learn. And yeah, look forward to many more chats. And obviously, as we go along, adding more guests and increasing the quality of the content we produce, as well as the wisdom that we give.
100%. All right, everybody. Thank you very much.